Hello everyone and welcome back to another video covering the new Legends of Brawlhalla. Today it's Caspian, and today is Wednesday, July 26th. Of course, Legends and patches always drop on Wednesdays, so we're going to review Caspian. Caspian, codenamed Thief, is a Gauntlets Katar's legend, and we're going to read his lore, so go to meet the legends. His name is Caspian, starts with a C, so he'll be in the top row. And let's check out some of his skins here too. Well, first we'll read his stats. He has 7 strength, 5 dex, 4 defense, and 6 speed. Those are some pretty good stats in my own opinion. So, here we have Classic Caspian, of course, that's what it looks like. Then you have Fortune Hunter Caspian, who kinda reminds me of like a mix between Skyrim and like Thief, but you know, whatever. And then Nightcap Caspian and All City Caspian. I really like Fortune Hunter and All City, but that's just me. Okay, now reading the lore. I give up. How did you steal the Queen's necklace? English detective. Mr. Holmes, I left all the clues you could possibly need. Caspian. Mr. Holmes must be Sherlock Holmes, the English detective. A. As the story goes. The Mad King of Batavia was a demanding father, and his lunacy honed his son into the greatest thief ever known. Steal me the royal scepter of Hamburg, the nose of the Sphinx, and the beard of the Emperor of China. His father would rave, and Caspian would deliver them all. But his father's rule descended from Capricus. That's a lot of words that I don't know how to pronounce for some reason. To diabolical, and when the Order of the Exalted Lion stepped in, the young prince quietly vanished. On his own, the great Caspian's showmanship and thirst for danger only grew. His theatrical heists left his targets plotting more often than calling the police. He replaced the Mona Lisa with a portrait of himself with an enigmatic smile. He stole the crown jewels of Britain with one hand, actually tied behind his back. Citizens of Kiev woke up one morning to find he had somehow stolen their entire city and was now, in every legal way, their mayor. Emboldened by the cheers of the people, Caspian stepped up his game. He won the Battle of Trafalgar disguised as the Admiral Nelson. He won the Kentucky Derby disguised as a horse. He decided to take some time for himself, and August 32nd was never seen again. In Brawlhalla, he has not slowed his larcenous ways. He has disguised himself as Vrax for an entire tournament, a tournament Vrax was in. He stole Thatch's beard and replaced it with bees. He stole Cross's coin and quickly gave it back. None doubt that the grand tournament is his stage now, and he's here to give them a show. There are a lot of interesting points in this lore here, especially with him stealing the nose of the Sphinx, which probably ties in with Mirage somewhere, I believe. I think she had something to do with that. Well, I know she was from Egypt, so yeah. And then the Order of the Exalted Lion, of course that ties in with Octavius Mordex, Diana, Sir Roland, and so on and so forth. I think it's in there with someone else too. And then, of course, stealing Cross's coin and quickly giving it back. Cross's coin is actually cursed or something. So, yeah. Caspian seems to have a lot of ties and is very important. Of course, I have nothing in my career. And, luckily for me, servers are actually up when I'm recording this, so I might be able to get my CCs. I think sometimes you have to restart the game for those to show up, though. So here's his base skin. I already went through all of his skins, so I'm just going to go through colors. I'm just going to quickly run through them. I really like Sunset, Gray, Red actually, and of course Black. White's pretty good too. Skyforge is okay, I just don't like the way the rose shows on the vest. And then you're going to have Fortune Hunter Caspian, which also looks pretty good in Gray. I don't really know about Sunset, and then I like it in Red, White, and Black, as well as Skyforged. And then we'll go to Nightcap Caspian, and to give you a review of some of the later colors. And All City Caspian. Ooh, that looks good in black. Wow. And then we'll show the weapons. So it's got the Sleight of Hand and Showman's Daggers. Or Sleight of whatever. Yeah. So I'm gonna be playing with this skin in black because that's my favorite one so far, and well, not so far out of everyone, of course. That's a cool animation. He sniffs his rose and then turns it into 3 Katars. Pretty cool in my opinion. And because he's a thief, we'll play on, let's say, Big Great Hall. A lot of stuff for him to steal, shiny goblets and such. Alright, so of course Caspian has its regular stats, unarmed is always the same, and if you would allow me to enable damage, stun, and hitboxes, then we'd be good. We'll disable item spawning. We'll start off with gauntlets because that's his primary weapon, it seems. So, of course, we'll obviously show SIGs like I always do. So here we are going to have the neutral SIG. He seems to prime a grenade, or a bomb, and then just kind of flick it out into the air. And I will go back frame by frame. Actually, let me play it again. Okay, go back to a frame by frame of that. So, the hitboxes start one frame after the bomb leaves his hands, and they follow the bomb all the way through until it explodes, creating a larger hitbox. Which is pretty cool. And we'll try to get a hit with that. Luckily she's positioned in a good way. 27.54. That's a good amount of damage to put her from white into the yellow. And we will we'll enable damage reset as well. If I can get her up there. There we go. And then enable position reset. So that was the neutral SIG, as you saw. Quick 27 damage. And then you can have probably the down SIG next. So we'll review the down SIG over here without the attack, or without hitting. He primes more bombs and then throws them as he dodges back, or steps back. He just kind of slides. So, we'll look at those. It's a lot of hitboxes, actually. So, this one has a few startup frames, more than a few. And then, there's actually not many hitboxes until they're actually already exploding, in which case they're actually really small, but they're sporadic, which is good because anyone in that position, right here, would be hit very easily by those. So if we do that on Scarlet right here, another 27.53 damage, a little bit less than neutral SIG I believe, which was at 27.54. So, you know, obviously it's situational, and that's, despite the fact that it has quite a few startup frames, it's actually kind of a quick SIG, and I like it a lot. And now we'll do the side SIG, which is just a quick little dash. He primes a bomb behind him again, but then he kind of just punches you with it, and then we'll land a hit with that. Ah, that's what he does. He sticks the bomb to the back of his opponent, and then jumps around them, blowing them up, and doing 23.04 damage. You can see right there. So we'll get a frame by frame of that alone. The hitboxes start as soon as he starts to leap forward. Well, 2 or 3 frames after he starts to leap forward, and follow his hand. And then I'm assuming, obviously, they would contact the opponent and continue from there. So, we could do something like downlight down SIG, or probably even neutral A down SIG. So that's quite a few dodge frames, but that would probably be more of a dodge read. You could also do, if she wasn't on a soft platform, that is. Let me move the bot. Position reset off. Control your player. Okay, now we're controlling Caspian again, and we'll turn on position reset. It seems that we could do... Ah, that's a good one. So ground pounding and then doing a neutral SIG would result in quite a bit of damage quite quickly. The only thing is you have to position it carefully. It is difficult. There we go. You have to do that very quickly and position it correctly. And then I'd imagine the side SIG could be... Ooh, you could do sidelight neutral SIG probably. If I don't screw it up. There you go, that's a good one. Another dodge read, of course. I don't know how effective it would be, but it's a dodge read. And then you could do downlight side SIG, which is a dodge window of 2. If you do it correctly. Wow, dodge window of 2. And that's a total of 23 damage. I thought the side SIG itself did more than that. Ah, it's the side SIG that does 23 damage. Plus what looks to be 14 from the downlight. So downlight side sig seems to be one of the best strings you have for his gauntlets. And then now we're going to switch into his Katars, which I think his Katar skin look really cool. Oh, that was his down sig, my bad. So of course you got a peek of the down sig there, but we're going to start with this neutral sig. So the neutral sig simply throws 3 Katars fairly straight upwards. It's somewhat like Mirage's down sig with spear, except it goes upwards instead of downwards. And then we'll get the frame by frame data there. So going back, you have the Katars, which seem to start their hitboxes upon being thrown. So as soon as they split up here, that's when the hitboxes start. Again, another few frames, not many, after you initiate the sig. And then they follow all the way through, extending at the end. So we'll be able to perhaps... There we go. You can do a neutral light, a neutral sig. Nothing special after you do that, but it does... How much damage? 24 damage, it looked like. Yeah, 24.14 damage. That's pretty good. And then we'll do the down sig now. It's jumping in the air while he throws down 2 Katars, or 2... I guess these are throwing knives when I don't know how he gets them. Does he reach back behind him? We'll find out in the frame by frame. So it quickly throws them down, and it can actually pass through soft platforms, it seems. Yeah, I don't know if that's intentional, but they do, which I honestly think is a good mechanic. So he jumps in and throws his, looks like it would be his right hand Katar first, and then throws his left, both having circular hitboxes surrounding the Katars until they contact, exploding, same size as the hitbox of course, and then it looks like he pulls them back out. There is no change in animation frame between when he doesn't have them and then when he pulls them back out, which is interesting. I don't know if that's a bug or if that's intentional, or if they just assume that people wouldn't notice unless they went in the frame by frame. And getting a hit with that does 29 damage. That's pretty good. And we'll charge it, of course. Charging it seems to make him fly a little bit farther. Yeah, charging it will cause him to fly farther, which is... I think if you... perhaps... certain levels of platforms you'd be able to get on them just by doing the down sig instead of having to jump or anything, which I don't see why that would be useful in most occasions, but at the same time it's cool that it's possible. And then finally the side sig with Katars. Simply throws 1 Katar out, explodes, and shows a little bit of a card. And getting a hit with that does 24 damage, and then he follows it up by smacking her with the next Katar, or smacking anyone with the next Katar. Getting frame by frame. The hitbox on miss starts as soon as he throws it out, so there's very little startup there. And then as he throws it, it then explodes into a circle, but it follows the Katar all the way through, which I think is pretty cool. And then, of course, we can do some combos. Gonna be a bit difficult. So perhaps, that's what you could do. If you want to do another dodge read, you can do a side light and then chase dodge twice. And if you're playing in experimentals, you could use dash until that was released. And then obviously, as you saw me doing when I was doing the neutral sig, you can quite easily, with a few dodge frames of course, 15, which isn't necessarily great, you can quite easily do a neutral light, neutral sig, and be able to hit with that. Otherwise, I'm not exactly sure on what combos you could do. So you couldn't really do that. Bam. I guess you could do downlight side sig, try to get that as quickly as possible. Seems that 13 is probably going to be the best. Yeah, I'm not really sure about what I always like to do these. No dodge frames on a throw combo, and a pretty good amount of damage sending her into the light yellow. I guess with a throw combo though, you'd expect, or with a combo you'd hope for more than just one transitional color. But yeah, so that's Caspian, and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you liked it, leave a review, and leave a like. Please comment on the video, tell me what you'd like to see in the next Legend review, and tell me what I can improve on. I'm always trying to make these reviews a little bit better. for pretty much everyone and their opinions. So, well, obviously I can't tend to everyone, but I'll do what I can. So please leave a like if you enjoyed it, and comment it. If you want to show your friends, go ahead and link it to them, and I would appreciate that a lot, sharing it around. Anyways, that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.